This is Julien, and I'm here in Copenhagen. And before we jump into this video, I quickly want to address the fur. Okay, I've been getting a few comments saying, Father J, don't you support animals? Why are you wearing a dead animal around your face, around your neck? What is up with that? And my answer to you here is that, hey, this isn't real. This is called fake fur or faux fur. It's not a real dead animal. I support animals, I love animals, and so should you. Okay, just to set the record straight here. On that note, we're going to jump into a segment from last night's live event here in Copenhagen about the topic of spiritual bypassing, where I'll ask you, are you using spiritual content, self-help content, as a way to grow, as a way to self-actualize, or as a way to remain inauthentic, as a way to remain stuck? Enjoy.
Officially the most awkward yet awesome introduction ever. This will be the next media scandal. You will see me on CNN like, it was a joke, it was a joke. And to officially put it out there, if anyone actually believes that I take it seriously, I do. No, I don't. I don't! It's a joke, okay? It's a joke. I always see comments like, I don't know about this Father J thing. Has he really transcended his previous vessel, Julien Blanc? Has he really become an elevated being? And, I mean, that's for you to decide, you know. I like to think I have. And it feels pretty cool, you know, coming down to this earthly plane amongst you lower beings, to kind of inspire you to move up, being so elevated, seeing the world from a different perspective, from different eyes. And if you want to see one last little cool trick, check this out. This is, look at that. One more take.
Trousers are awesome.
No, but this is better. If I just put in a little effort, I shit out iPhones. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of different tools. And as I'm sure you know, human beings are creatures of habit. We're extremely attached to our comfort zone. We're extremely attached to our identity, to who we are. You think you want to change, bullshit. And I see it weekend in, weekend out on live programs. I see it on Skype coachings. I see it to pretty much everyone I talk to. When I give certain advice, they want some advice, but they want that advice to reinforce their current identity so they can feel better about being who they currently are. And it doesn't matter how much content is out there, they're going to filter what they look at through this in a way to remain in their comfort zone. There's a term in the spiritual world, in the realm of Father J and his children, called spiritual bypassing. Have you ever heard of this? No. It's time to move up, my children. It's time to learn about this shit. Spiritual bypassing is basically when you use different, say, spiritual teachings as a way to stay in a state of inauthenticity, as a way to avoid, say, dealing with unpleasant emotions, dealing with some of the shit that you've suppressed and repressed. Okay? So one common one is positive thinking. Everyone wants to feel, be positive. Think positive thoughts. Feel happy all the time. Feel good. However, by doing so, it will block you from, say, diving into some of the shit that's down there. It's like all of us, deep down inside, we're running away from this ball of shit. You all have it. It motivates you to do everything you do. That's why you're here. You're asking, why don't I feel like I'm enough? Because you have this shit inside of you. You're constipated, filled with shit, dude. That's what's up. And instead of turning towards the shit and releasing the shit, shitting out, and it might be another shit seminar with a lot of shit words. What we do is we just try to escape it. We try to ignore it. We do everything to just not face it. And the more we do so, the more dread there is around confronting this shit. And we hear, okay, be positive. The law of attraction. If you focus on positive things, you will attract positive things. And that reinforces, hey, don't bring your awareness into this shit. However, and this is big, whether you consciously focus on positive things or not, if unconsciously, in your subconscious, there's still that stuff going on, if you believe in the law of attraction, you will still manifest more of this. You can kid yourself as much as you want to think you're positive. Deep down inside, you got to release it. And you'll see it with people who are overly positive. There's something a little off in them. You see it especially in the self-help world. Hey, everyone. Hey, motivation 101, everyone. Yay. And it's like a little fucking fake. You kind of sense it. There's like some tension deep down inside. Anyone meet people like that? A little too hyper, a little too positive. You're like, that's not really real. You know, yeah, they might have some positive traits, but it's kind of overblown as a way to compensate for something else. And you might even bring it up like, hey, you know, I sense a little tension inside of you, and immediately there's like massive defensiveness. Like, what the fuck you talking about, you know? Like, still trying to be positive, you sense it kind of stings them, okay? That is one example. So, yes, if you focus on, say, positive things, you will attract more positive things, but to do so, you must bring your awareness to this shit and release it. And it's not pleasant. Instead of running away from it, you got to dive into, like, instead of, I'm not enough, what do I do? Why am I not enough? Why do I believe I'm not enough? And it's basically facing the shit you've been running away from your entire life. And it's not pleasant. It's like you got a fucking cut on your arm, and you're like, I don't have a cut, I don't have a cut, everyone, I don't have a cut. And you live in this state of denial. What you're doing here is acknowledge you have a cut. Bring it into your awareness, painful, in order for it to heal so you're no longer run from that. Okay? And people use, for example, positive focus, positive thinking, the law of attraction to avoid that. Another one, when it comes to, say, self-help or even spirituality, is I'm not ready yet. You use it as an excuse to not take action. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to really do this thing yet because I haven't read enough books on it yet. You know, I'm not informed enough. I'm not present enough. I'm not enlightened enough. And it's an excuse to avoid taking action. Or an excuse, and this one's big, to, you know, not make money or be successful. And you'll see that. Just go on YouTube, I kid you not. Look up spiritual teachers. And you'll see these series of videos of people sitting in, like, not to diss, to each their own, but let's just say a very shitty apartment and a shitty little camera, shitty little shot, shitty little clothes, shitty little everything. And they're just like, you know what, I just don't believe in this money stuff. I don't believe in success. I don't believe in money. That's materialistic things. Let go of materialistic things to transcend, right? And you just sense that, although, yeah, some people, you know, might not resonate with that, there's still that little bit of bitterness there. And what they're doing is they're using spirituality as an excuse to not take action, for example, or build, for example, their brand in order to affect more people, to reach more people. And that's an excuse that holds you back. Anyone who says, fuck making money, fuck taking action, fuck being successful, fuck that teacher. However, they also have a point, though. If you're only focused on making money, being successful, and you ignore the other side, then you become very bitter as well. So it goes both ways. One person could use, it's all about taking action, fuck the spiritual side to avoid it and avoid their growth. The other person could use, it's all about the spiritual side, fuck taking action, and they'll be blocked as well. It's a combination of the two. Okay, because trust me, if you just focus on taking action and money, what does your life look like? Pretty much the same as it is now, but a little bit more luxurious. Instead of wiping your ass with shitty toilet paper, you now have classy toilet paper. Instead of drowning your sorrows with shitty vodka, or whatever you drink here, I guess vodka maybe, yeah? You can drink more expensive vodka. But you're still living a life of waking up, eating, shitting, spending most of your day behind a screen. You might be able to afford a better screen, a better computer, a better cell phone, but life is the same. You just have more luxurious ways of distracting yourself or numbing your pain. That's it. But that's the same. And it gets really boring after a while. You wake up, you eat, you shop, you sleep. You wake up, you eat, you shop, you sleep. That's everyone's life. Wake up, eat, shop, sleep. Yeah, you can eat better stuff, shop more, but it's the same routine over and over and over again if you ignore the other side. Okay? So be careful not to use content or ideas to reinforce staying stuck in that state. And what you'll notice, once more, is you're going to start scanning for stuff to reinforce that. So if you're someone who's always about spirituality, fuck taking action, you're going to look for videos, content, books to reinforce those beliefs. To prove to yourself, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. If you're someone who's all about action, fuck spirituality, you're going to look up books, videos, content, teachers that reinforce that as well. And the key is, although both are correct, you're using content in the wrong way. You're using it in a way to remain stuck. Okay? So every piece of content always has a certain context and applies to, it depends on the context and depends on the person, you know? I also talk about this in Transformation Mastery, where there's two paradigms. There's a paradigm built on scarcity and a paradigm built on abundance. And most people in life are stuck at the bottom. They're not fulfilled, they're not happy, they're miserable, they're just stuck, and they have their excuses. For that person, what is valuable advice? You're a victim and it's not your fault. In that paradigm, for that person, in that context, that is great fucking advice. If you're miserable, you have a shitty life, you feel horrible, and someone comes up to you and tells you, hey, it's not your fault, man. It's the government. What do you experience? Relief. Whoa, it's not my fault. Whew. I was stuck in this loop of self-hate. It's not me. I'm a victim. In a way, it's a little bit empowering. You're like, fuck them. Fuck the government. Fuck those other people. Fuck my boss. It's my boss's fault. I'm just a little victim. That's actually good advice for someone in that paradigm. But it'll only get you so far. It might help if you're completely stuck at the bottom, but eventually, that'll start eating you up inside. And that's where new advice comes in. And you might hear, you know what? Fuck being a victim. Take that pain, take that frustration, take that anger, and use it to step it up, motherfucker. Take action. Stop being a bitch. That is really good advice for someone who's always feeling sorry for themselves. Right? However, that'll also only get you so far. If you're all about take action, hustle, 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 you do it too long, it'll start eating you up inside. As a lot of you have mentioned earlier in this seminar. You get in that hustle mode and you become the most unhappy, frustrated, stressed out person, and you can't chat anymore, you can't have fun anymore, you can't laugh anymore. If you go on Instagram and you look up the hashtag hustle, you see the most miserable, saddest people ever. It looks like hashtag depression. It's the same. And it starts rotting you on the inside, and then guess what? That'll start manifesting itself on the external too, where you'll not relate to people who could help you. Like, instead of just putting your head down, hustle, 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 why don't you become a little bit more friendly, a little more social, make some connections versus alienating everyone around you. And that, once you're at that level, when it's eating you up inside, new advice comes in, where it's like, hey, stop being motivated by pain. Why not let go of that pain and instead be motivated by love, be motivated by abundance, coming from a very different place. That advice is for someone in that context at that level. So different advice for different people in different contexts. And this is how you also reconcile a lot of the paradoxes that you see on the internet in this personal development world. There are a lot of paradoxes, but not really. You always have to ask yourself, what's the context? To what person does this apply? To someone, say you're teaching social intelligence or social skills. If someone's like very introverted, you might tell them, hey, be louder, step it up. But if someone is a little too, by default, just kind of loud and like, hey, you're going to tell them, hey, chill the fuck out. Relax. Be a little less quiet. And they're like, well, which one is it? Is it be loud or be quiet? Depends on the person, depends on the context. Does this make sense so far? Yes? Why, thank you. And this is key. It's like when you're looking at this content, ask yourself, does this apply to me where I'm at on my journey right now and who I am right now? Am I filtering content in a way to reinforce my comfort zone, to reinforce my current identity instead of perhaps challenging myself? Okay? And every piece of content has a certain context in which it is valid. FYI. Okay? And that's why you'll see even me put out a bunch of videos where in one video I'm like, you know what, write down a list of all the shit that frustrates you and use that as motivational fuel. Then you'll see me make another video saying about letting go about all that. And you're like, what the fuck? Different advice, different tools for different people at different levels. And the key is just accumulate all the tools so whenever you're faced with something, just pull out that one tool. But you got to use them in the right context. Another one, by the way, in terms of bypassing is looking at books and videos instead of addressing the cause. So say you don't feel very good, and this is super common, like, I don't feel good. I need to read some Eckhart Tolle. That can be helpful for a bit, but after a while, what does it do? You keep ignoring why you don't feel good. Instead of asking yourself, why don't I feel good, and diving into it, you keep escaping it through spiritual teachings. Okay? Drugs is another one. Anyone who's into, you're smiling, you're like, yes. See drugs, yes. You know, it's a lot, like, although I will say it can be a good tool, like certain drugs in terms of awakening, if you will, can be amazing tools. However, it's also easy to fall into the trap of just being hooked on it, and you'd rather escape your current state and spend your life in this altered state. Okay? So that can also be a trap in a way of just not growing. Another one with the law of attraction is not helping other people. You might see someone like in pain. You're like, you know what? They attracted that. They need to experience that. That's part of their journey. And they just don't help. You know, there's just many of these. So something to keep in mind. When you're looking at content, find the context, find the person. If there's something that you don't get, like, I don't get this content, ask yourself, for what person would this be valid? And no piece of content is always valid, by the way. There's always a context where it's no longer valid, and there's the complementing, opposite, paradoxical piece of content. So that is one thing that, trust me, if you get it, it'll change your life, because if you're just staying stuck watching the shit that reinforces it, you're done. Okay? Break the cycle.
This is Julien, and welcome to Transformation Mastery.
It was fucking amazing.
This was huge for me. This was so important.
This gave me by far the greatest epiphanies I've ever had.
It just made me finally confront my deepest fears.
And we got like real deep, and I found some issues within myself.
One of the best things I've seen so far in my life.
What you're about to experience going through this program is what completely changed my life on every single level. Okay, be it health, wealth, relationships, higher purpose, you name it. This is the stuff that finally produced that true, long-lasting personal transformation we're all after.